Hello, hello. This is Alicia from Quick and Delish. It's Sunday evening, the 17th of May, and I'm going to show you guys how to make my my baked oatmeal bars. I call them plan ahead oatmeal bars down there in the recipe videos, so go check it out. So this is a different version of the basic recipe. So in the recipe on the channel there, I put 2 cherries to mark the little squares. And this is what a square would look like. And I use blueberries for these. And so the tricky thing is with blueberries is that it's harder to identify where the bar is. So I really like using either 2 cherries to mark a bar or frozen pitted cherries. You certainly can use fresh. They're actually in season right now, and you could pit them if you wanted. But I like to use frozen because it's easier. We're all about doing things a little bit on the easy side to make it faster, to have more food. So I just wanted to sort of brag a little bit, I guess. So last weekend I bought these like super ripe bananas. I'm gonna have to use these tonight. Okay, so last week I bought 10 or 11 unripe bananas. They were green, knowing that this weekend I was going to make 2 batches of my Plan Ahead oatmeal bars because I wanted to be set. So about 5 weeks ago I made 2 batches of the oatmeal bars, like one on one day and then the other on the second day, because I actually only have one 10 by 14 pan. And so then what happened was I had like 2 containers of bars in my freezer like this, and so I don't normally put them in plastic Ziploc bags, but this is what Safeway had. What I normally do is, and I was going to put the second batch in this container in the freezer. So what I normally do, sorry, something just fell. It was pizza parchment paper. What I normally do is when I cut the bars up, I put them on a piece of parchment paper in containers and then put them in the freezer so that they don't stick to each other. And so I have containers of bars, and sometimes I have 2 bars in a container, and sometimes I'll have like 6 bars depending on what size container. And then I just put the container in the refrigerator, and then I'll use those the next couple days. Or when I was going to work physically, I would bring a couple containers of bars with me so that I had them at work for snack or whatever, or breakfast. I have about 12 bars here that I'm going to freeze, and then I'm going to do a second batch right now. And so this is so cool because, I stored them in this container like this so that they would take up less space than if I were to do my old method, which is with the parchment paper, because that method takes up more space. And so I really was able to freeze a bunch of bars and have, I'll probably have something like 24 or maybe more bars, because I'm actually making them thicker so I can get more servings. So the basic recipe down there, Plan Ahead oatmeal bars, makes somewhere between 12 and 15 bars depending on how you cut them. I prefer to have smaller bars and then have options of food to add to them. So I'll have like a hard-boiled egg or some Greek yogurt or some cottage cheese or a little bit of peanut butter, some PB2 to increase the protein, and maybe I'll add a little bit of fruit if I have it. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. So I have here 5 smallish bananas, and I was just gonna finish off smashing them. So what's cool if you use very ripe bananas like these guys, then you don't have to add the maple syrup, which is in the original recipe. And I'm not trying to be weird and a freak about not adding any sugar. It's actually less steps. And so then when I heat up the bar, then I put a little maple syrup if I want to, if I'm at home, which I am right now, working from home. So these are all mixed and smashed, very smashy, because they're super ripe. Pardon me. This is where my dishes go. Okay, what else do we put in here? I like the Trader Joe's rolled oats, and I'll also show you this other brand that I really like too. Okay, so we're doing 4, I'll just scoop it. 4, 2, 3. I'm just gonna do 3 of these and see, because I can totally just place the measuring. I'm not gonna put that. It's so fun being attached to a mic. So I bought some oats through Edison Granary, 1D for Edison. Edison Granary is a company in California. And yesterday I opened these oats. I bought these like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they smell so good and nutty. And I've never had the thought that oats smelled good before. Okay, so I said I was going to make thicker bars. So I went in and had added an extra cup. Okay, so you can use make a overnight oats with the extra oats. Okay, so I'm gonna add a tablespoon. Actually, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, because that's how much I like cinnamon. Maybe a tablespoon and a half. And I'm not measuring because I'm a jerk. About a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. Somehow I have like 4 containers of pumpkin pie spice from the holidays. 1 tablespoon, I'm using avocado oil. So I'm adding oil because I want to make sure that there's a little bit of oil. We need a little bit of fat to help us absorb our fat-soluble vitamins. And I just got oil on my hand, so I'm going to grab a towel. It's cool, that's where I keep my towels. All right, what else? Okay, a half teaspoon of salt, and what else? Okay, so you're probably gonna think I'm crazy, but that's okay. So in my original recipe down there in the video, I have you add flax seeds, ground flax seed. They have to be ground because we don't digest whole flax seeds. So I have ground flax seeds here, chia seeds, and I say that it's optional to add hemp seeds. So I keep these in the refrigerator so they stay fresh longer, because they have omega-3 fatty acids in them, and so they're at risk of going rancid. So you don't want to keep these things for years and then use them. You want to use them up. All right. So, oh, I have a spoon. I'm just going to put a quarter cup of flaxseed, and I'm going to do a quarter cup of hemp seed. So I just kind of warn you that you might think I'm crazy, right? So hemp seeds are nutty. They add some protein and some omega-3, so they're kind of fun. I recommend getting them at Trader Joe's. Even though they're not organic, they're more affordable at Trader Joe's. Okay, so the part about me being crazy is I actually add peas, frozen peas. I prefer Trader Joe's organic peas because they are tender and sweeter than these Trader Joe's regular peas. Sorry, it's just the truth. And maybe they taste different depending on what company they use for their peas. Maybe it's just these bags that are a little tougher. The skins are just a little bit tough. And I'm curious, maybe people don't like peas because the skins are tough, but it's not all peas. It's just that brand or that season of peas. So you still need to be open-minded. I hope you are open-minded. Okay, so I'm adding peas to add more protein and fiber. And I'm just gonna I add about 2 cups of peas. So if you think I'm crazy, that's okay. And they totally don't taste like anything once they're in the bar. You might be able to see them. Like if you go on to my Instagram, quick_delish, you'll see this super sexy picture of a bar, and it has a blackberry on top, and you can totally see a pea, but you don't taste them. So check it out. You could use a clothing pin to keep your bags closed. Okay, so before we go add the blueberries, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the water. Okay, so we put 5 cups of oats. I have 2. We're adding less water. 3. We'll do 3.5 cups of water to 5 cups of oats. And then I got this gigantic bag of blueberries from grocery outlet. And these are gigantic blueberries. Okay. I'll put this away in a minute. All right, sweet. So the thing is, if I make 2 batches of oatmeal bars, so then you just mix this and then you put it in the pan, put it in the oven. That's it. So while it's mixing, I consider this when it's sort of sitting, and you can let this sit for like 8 to 10 minutes if you want before you bake it. But by the time you finish mixing, then it'll be ready. I promise. Okay, let's see. So we have banana for sweetness in here. We have blueberries are not as sweet. So don't be surprised when you use blueberries and bananas together and you don't add the maple syrup, that you might want them to be a little bit sweeter, and that's fine. But if you use one of my favorite second fruit edition is frozen strawberries with a slice or 2 of frozen peaches. So you get 1 frozen strawberry and 1 slice of peach per bar. And that's really cool because roasted strawberries are super delicious. They concentrate the flavors and just so delicious. Anytime something roasts, you're drying out, you're evaporating the water and concentrating the flavors, and that's one of the reasons why roasting is so awesome. It's quick, easy. You just throw it in the oven and you roast it until it's caramelized and tasty, and you're done. Okay, so this is it. Okay, I have here 11 delete that last second, a 10 by 14 inch pan, lasagna pan. It's a pretty big pan. And I'm going to dump this. Yay! So cool. Ay. Awesome. Very cool. I'm huge on stacking stuff. I'm a big stacker. I recommend making it so that the blueberries are more in the middle than on the edges, because they will stick to the sides if you can, but you don't need to worry. It's not like a stress situation. Okay, here we go. We're smoothing around. So this is like a full pan, so I'm making thick bars because I added a little bit more. So once you follow the original recipe and you mess around with the different flavors that you like in terms of what kinds of fruits you put on the top, then you can start messing around with the ratio so that you can get more servings. That's it. Yay! So this is going to bake in the oven, which I already have on 375 for 45 to 60 minutes. And so what I'm going for is, when you lift up the bottom carefully with strong arms, you can see that the oats are slightly brown, but not too dark. And then the edges are brown, but not like super dark. Let it cool for 1 solid hour, and then cut it into your 12 to 4 times 4 is 16, 12 or 16 bars, your choice. Sometimes if I have big bars, then I'll cut them in half. And if I have a half bar, then I could have like, it's just like a little piece of toast with some fruit and a little bit of protein. So you have more options if you have small bars and then big bars for snacks or meals or whatever. And they're great toasted in the toaster oven, or microwaved, depending on where you are, if you're at home or if you're at work or wherever, whatever equipment you have available to you. And so I literally freeze most of these. I'll keep a couple in the refrigerator, and then I'm good to go. Like, I'm good to go for a month or 5 weeks, depending on how I use these. And so that's how I make less, like I make more food, and then it is actually possible to take a weekend off and not have to really do much meal planning wise, because you're eating out of your freezer the next week. So if you have like soups and stews, and you know, I've shared some pictures of what meal planning looks like in terms of like I'll make 6 or 9 meals. Like last Sunday I made 9 meals and I have 6 of them left, and it's because I had a couple left from the week before, and I had some soups that I was already working on, and I made a huge egg frittata. So last weekend I did more work, but it wasn't exhausting. I just like did more time investment in meal planning than I did this weekend. And so I'm hoping that, you know, I'll have less dishes now going forward this week. Yeah, cool. So I hope you try this recipe, and I would love to hear what you think. I just had a client make it for the first time early at the end of last week, and he said it was really good. And yeah, that's all we need to hear, right? Amen. Cool. So I will see you next weekend. I will film another video, and keep an eye out for other recipes, tips and tricks in the near future. And I'm going to send out in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to have like a snapshot into my e-cookbook that I'm going to be publishing the end of the summer. So I'm super stoked about that. Yes. So I hope you have a great week ahead, and to be continued. We're sheltering in place for almost 2 more weeks, and we don't know what the protocol is moving forward after that. So let's all take assessment on our priorities and be nice to each other all in public, and do what we can to reduce the risk of this spread of COVID-19, right? The more we can do now and for the next year or however long this lasts, the safer everybody will be. Okay, until next time, this is Alicia signing out. Goodbye.